you know, and in the corporate world, 80-90% of success is just being likable, being trustworthy, a lot of things like that that are basically your psyche. It's not your intelligence. It's not your experience. It's, do I really trust John? Is he trustworthy? Do I like him? Do I think he's a good dude? That's actually a big part of success. You know, being in the right place at the right time, yeah, it's a little bit of luck. You know, my girl was thinking about joining FTX, and she joined OpenAI instead. Pretty good, you know? But she could have just as easily had cuffs on her. So, you know, luck will play a role, but one thing to say about my girl, I mean, everybody loves her. Nobody's a bad word to say about her. That's what you can control. What you can't control is if Sam Bankman-Fried destroys everything. That you cannot control. If I go back in time, man, that is the one piece of advice I'd give myself. I'm going to tell my son at least. Don't let anybody ever, you don't want anybody ever to say a bad word about you. If you can help that, you're set. There's a lot of other things you can't change, but you don't want anybody to say, oh, you know, Bud is a bad guy. Bud fucked me over. Bud's, you know, I don't like Bud. That's what will kill your career. And, you know, I got a lot of very famous and successful people to back me, and that's amazing, and I'm grateful. But, you know, I wasn't always kind to the little people. And they matter too. They matter more in some ways. Because you may think they're little until they become big. And you may think they're little until you don't realize that, you know, they have a good relationship with somebody important. And the worst thing ever is, let's say you're doing a deal with UBS, okay? And you talk to the UBS banker. This is a Swiss investment bank for anybody that doesn't know. And they say, yeah, great, we want to do this deal with you. I don't know, they're going to help you sell your company. And they go to a guy that you snubbed 5 years ago. He's actually on the investment committee of UBS. You have no idea. You don't even remember dude's name. And they're like, oh, Shkreli? Yeah, we're not doing this deal. I'm not going to be a part of this. And the guy calls you back, and you know what he says? He doesn't say, oh, John Schmidt, you know, from 18 years ago doesn't like you. He's going to say, you know, we reviewed the opportunity. Unfortunately, it's a little small for us, so, you know, I'm going to forward you to a different bank, but, you know, it's just a little small. UBS is a big investment bank, so we're sorry that we can't service your account. You'll never hear why. You'll just always wonder. Matter of fact, you might not even wonder. You might buy the bullshit line that it's too small, but it was actually John Schmidt, who I don't know what you did to him. You did something stupid that you didn't need to. You said his idea was stupid when you could have said, I have a different opinion. That's all you had to say. I have a different opinion. Or, you know what? I love that idea. Costs you nothing to say that. I love that. You could be thinking in your head, that's retarded. You say, I love that, John Schmidt. And next time that UBS investment committee, he's going to bat for you. You say, oh, Shkreli, yeah, he was supporting me. Great guy. It's really that easy. Just don't be an asshole. I had a hard time with that. I mean, I really did. I'll keep it 100 with you. There's people you don't like because you think your shit doesn't stink. So you don't like them. And in reality, with time, you look back and you say, actually, I really should have been nicer to that person. They're pretty cool, and I was kind of the dickhead. But you can't go back in time. So, you know, I wish I could go back and apologize to every single person I wronged, even if they were the tiniest wrong. Because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's not even just a money thing. You know, yeah, that will maximize your income, sure. It's also an emotional thing. You know, you really want 100 million enemies? You really want, you know, people to hate you? Well, what's the point? You're not a rapper. You know, you're just trying to monetize this. Just be a nice person. But it's hard. You know, life has a lot of stresses and pressures, and they grate on you, and you want to take it out on other people. A new kitchen remodeling is going to be 30 grand. Damn. You know what? You're an idiot, Heather. Heather's like, what I do? The Heather's got something for you. Don't worry. You have no idea. But Heather's fucking the boss. And you've just fucked up. Or Heather's going to be your boss in 3 years. Whatever the case. What did I do at UBS? I spent only a few months at UBS. I trained under my old boss, who I would end up working with down the road, named Ed Painter, who's a tremendous guy. If you want to learn investing, seek out Ed Painter. He probably it's not going to be easy to find him, but if you can find him, and he'll take you on he was very good about taking on younger guys as a mentor, and I was somebody he mentored, and he taught me value investing. He taught me different ideas around investing and trading and philosophies. We talk about investing a lot, and he's a brilliant guy. He worked at a place called Salomon Brothers, which is no longer in existence, but with people like Mike Bloomberg and John Goodfriend and some legends in investing and trading. Warren Buffett eventually sort of rescued Salomon Brothers after they had a crisis. Then they had some other crises. Eventually it became Citigroup. But if you can find Ed, he's a brilliant dude who just we were friends for a few years before then, but we really got to work together over a summer, talked a lot about investing. I ended up going to a hedge fund pretty quickly after that, but he's just a really bright guy that's done very well, and is a good family man. He also taught me the importance of being a good person. I mean, I didn't listen to him as much as I should have, but he tried to stress in me that the amount of money you have or don't have doesn't really mean a lot in a lot of places. Just because you're Steve Cohen or whoever, famous rich guy, insert here, if you're not a good person, you don't act like a good person, that doesn't mean you're a great member of your community. And I know a lot of this stuff seems very soft. At the end of the day, good guys finish last, but it doesn't hurt to be a good guy. It's not going to change the way you invest and trade. It's funny, a kid from here called this billionaire hedge fund guy, cold called him. And he was the politest. I actually know the guy. I yelled at the kid for just picking up the phone and like cold calling Jay-Z, basically. And I was like, the fuck, you crazy? Why are you cold calling Hove? And the guy was the nicest guy in the world. It was just like, thank you for calling, but I'm not interested. If you could take me off your list, I'd appreciate it. We're doing this and that. So it turns out the thing you're offering me doesn't apply. And I appreciate your time. It wasn't a long call or anything, but the guy didn't say, how the fuck you get my number? Get me the fuck off this list. Or just click. He was polite, generous. And then I looked at what the guy had been up to, and he donated, $50 million to a local hospital here. He's a stand-up guy. Everyone loves this guy. And, he didn't hang up on my guy, whose salary is, basis points of his donation to the hospital. So, that's the reputation that, is so important. I've heard these cold calls, sometimes will work, but, I think the reputation of, just him hanging up and being mean to the kid would have been something he knows isn't smart to have. Why have that energy out there? Why have that negativity out there? Oh yeah, when I called this guy, he slammed the phone on me. Maybe Carl Icahn will do that, but I think, I'd rather have my reputation be like, oh, he was really nice. I was nobody on Wall Street. He took my call. He patiently explained to me that I was an idiot. And I always have that. He'll probably remember that if I see him a few years from now. Like, oh, it was that guy that called you on that thing. Maybe he'll remember. You never know. All right, what's going on?